Subramaniam, please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for giving an evening, Sunday evening to me for this program, Value Chain Analysis. Yesterday, Rahul Gandhi had come to Tamil Nadu and he conducted a meeting in Coimbatore.
Your voice is low. Your voice is low.
My voice is low, is it? Just a minute. Is it audible now, Mr. Durga Prasad? Mr. Durga Prasad,
Yeah,
is it okay?
There is a problem with my end. Okay, carry on.
Arun, the voice is clear. You can carry.
Okay. Yesterday, there was a meeting in Coimbatore where Rahul Gandhi met with some industry leaders. I want you to see a small snippet of what one of the industry leaders told Rahul Gandhi. Watch the video.
Arun, the videos, audio is not clear.
Make in India, Atmanirbhar. Associations, which is over 350,000 industries. What are we witnessing? I have been a 3.5 decade entrepreneur. What are we witnessing today in this country? We moved from Skill India, Digital India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar, and finally ended where? Fund India. What is Fund India? FDI. We are opening, asking others to give money to us. Where are we? I'm sick to see the entrepreneurs surviving. Out of 7 crore entrepreneurs, MSMEs, 30% are almost dead. What is 30%? 2.1 crore. That 2.1 crore gives jobs for almost 20 crore of people. We are not bothered. The ECGLS scheme came for 45 lakhs beneficiary out of 7.5 crores. Where are we? We are seeing only the balance 60% and saying green shoots. I am seeing shooting myself as an entrepreneur. How are we progressing? What answer will I give to my children? Today, entrepreneur, you ask them, we are facing 3 M problems. Money, manpower, material. Banks are...
Friends, you heard what was being told. Can any one of you give me your opinion about the small snippet of around 40 seconds? The gentleman spoke for nearly about 4 minutes. And I just took out 40 seconds of that and I put it here. I'm an apolitical person. I'm not trying to make a political statement here. This is very relevant to the subject matter. That's why I put it here. I want to know from you your opinion about what he has said. What do you feel about it? Can anyone tell me? Do I hear someone telling?
Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Vinod, tell me.
Yeah, 2 things. One, he has not understood that a business environment is dynamic and changes are bound to happen. Maybe he has been an entrepreneur for 30 years, but what holds good in the past 30 years may not be good for doing the business in the coming years. The business environment changes not only here, globally it changes. So the only way forward is to adapt to the business environment, find out solutions for the issues, and move forward. Just because I was successful with certain kind of thought process or a thought working pattern will not assure me that I will be successful henceforth. Whatever he has said, yes, there are issues which need to be addressed. There are issues where more policies or government intervention could be better. But the way forward is not lamenting about them, but to find out solutions to solve those issues, and also to understand that business environment is not static, but it's always dynamic, and we have to adapt our strategies, thinking, and capabilities to match those environment.
Thank you, Mr.
Environment will not come a change according to our wish and will.
Thank you,
This
Mr.
is my
Vinod. Thank
submission.
you. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, can I have a couple of more observations? Yes.
Mr. Arun, I'm Ravichandran.
Yes, Mr. Ravichandran.
As per my observation, the gentleman, what he was talking about the current scenario or the political influences of the entrepreneurship or the industry, I would say go with Mr. Vinod. It may be right. But in reality, what I understood based on his delivery, I think he is trying to influence instead of working on the control area. That's what I feel. It is quite easy to, but being a 30 plus years of an entrepreneur, we have seen there are so many other, even in Coimbatore, people were doing lovely services and nothing. I think the one insight what I could guess is, as Stephen Covey says, a circle of control could work better. That's what my feeling.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I know you said, you are asking to make a comment in reference. Dharmesh here. Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Dharmesh. Your observation, not necessarily a comment.
You are asking to make a comment in reference to today's session. Hello. Yeah. What I feel is it something like with yesterday's tools, you can't run your company tomorrow.
Okay.
Or you can't be successful tomorrow.
Thank
Is it something, something like that?
No, I'm just asking for, on his talk, what do you feel? What is your observation about what he has said?
There's a lot of desperations. There's a lot of frustration that is coming out of him.
Okay.
And I think.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Suresh here.
Huh?
Mr. Suresh here. Suresh here.
Yes, Mr. Suresh, tell me.
Yeah. So what exactly the aspect is, since you was mentioning connected with Coimbatore and particularly the small industries, yes, there had been certain disturbances that has been happening to the traditional industry that has been having there, particularly the grinder industry and other aspects. But at the same time, what exactly we are seeing is, have we changed, becoming proactive and take responsibility to make changes accordingly is one other factor which need to be evaluated. Otherwise, we will be talking about statistics of lost business people rather than working on the successful change people made and become successful. That's what I would like to highlight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Arun, can I add? I'm M. Chidambaram.
Yes. Tell me, Mr. Chidambaram.
In fact, I know this gentleman. He was Mr. Raghu.
Please.
He was with the
reason I have covered the place is I don't want personalities to come into it. My sincere request to you, please.
No, only one thing was, only he started off as on a solar thing, and he had met with a lot of failures personally, and he had to close down. And he had tried very, very seriously for the last so many years. So it shows his desperation on behalf of so many people. That's what I feel personally.
Okay, thank you. Let's not get into individuals. I just wanted to get the substance of what he was speaking. Anyone else would like to hazard a observation? Yes, Mr. Kiri. Hello. Yes, Mr. Mathur Sridhar.
Yeah. Now, he has been an entrepreneur for about 30 years, and I think he's been a successful. The fact that he's been an entrepreneur for 30 years goes to prove that he's a successful entrepreneur. And when he hinted that what will he tell his future generations, considering the fact that the present environment does not provide enough support for him to further his business. And he finds that there is no logic in what he's really doing. He's trying to enhance the business propositions, and he was quoting financials about it. And he said 60% is what is ignored and the 40% is what is being addressed. If you're going to take away those 60%, he doesn't find any meaning in that particular thing. And he's concerned about the future. His sons may not take up his business. That's his cause of worry. There was first, and he was referring to the 3 M's, that is money, manpower, and material. I think that leveraging that is concern, right?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Jagannathan, would you like to hazard an observation? Then we will continue with it. Let us see what.
Sir,
yes.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, this is Subroto.
Yes, tell me, Mr. Subroto.
Sir, what I think is he is basically referring about the amalgamation and the proper mix of the 3 M's, that is money, material, and manpower, which is a burning issue for any entrepreneurs, and he's facing the same problem. So it is the synchronization of these 3 is a main reason for the failure of 30% of MSMEs that he's referring about, that is closed down, and resulting into the loss of job of so many people. So
Okay.
it is basically what I feel is he's referring about, and then he might be seeking some governmental help or any institutional help, if that might come in the way of doing something good for this amalgamation of, or the proper mixture of this money, material, and manpower.
Thank you, Mr. Subroto. Thanks a lot. Now let's move on. Let us see what exactly he has said. When we break it down, we find a peculiar thing here. First, he has been for 35 years of MSME existence and no growth. Surprising, isn't it? That a person can continue to remain a micro and small scale industry, and as the discussion goes on, you will realize that this is something which is very dangerous. What happens? What do we call a person who has physical growth of 35 years and a mental growth of 5-year-old? Think about it. Number 2, he says 30% of the companies are nearly dead out of 7 crore MSMEs. I think somewhere something is seriously wrong. If 7 crore MSMEs, 30% only is dead. Because RBI has given out an observation more than half a decade back that 70% of the MSMEs closed down in 10 years. I will show you that also. Complaints about foreign direct investment coming in equates it to, by his gesture, that India is begging for money. Today, the world has become a global village. Indian companies are going abroad and doing business. Global companies are coming into India and doing business. And this cross-pollination is good for industry, good for society. ECGLS scheme, or rather ECLGS scheme, Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, is a scheme offered by the Government of India, which expires on 31st of March 2021, particularly for those entrepreneurs who have got a loan up to 25 crores, and they can take up to 20% of their current outstanding loan for recovery and growth. If only 45 lakhs avail of it, is it positive or negative? That means out of 7 crores, only 45 lakhs are availing it, the rest are not. Give it a thought. Is it good or bad? If you require loan, it is bad, or if you don't require a loan, it is good, bad. Man, money, material. When a person starts a business, he always has the requisite amount of money with him. He has the material and he has the manpower. What happened to it? Why did it all go down the line, down the drain? Why has this turned into a problem? And why entrepreneurs still continue to ignore the requirement of knowledge, which is what drives industry? Without knowledge, no amount of man, money, or material can help you. Trying but not taking steps to understand the problem and correcting it. Is that the way forward? Asking the world what he should answer. His children. Should that be our attitude? Now, before we further answer all these questions, I want you to see a picture and tell me what you see. Now, before that, I told you that I will show you that report. Here is a report from RBI which shows that in 10 years' time, 70% of the companies closed down. They closed down. The end of the first year, 20% of the company closes down. End of second year, 30%. End of fifth year, 50%. And by the end of 10th year, 70% of the companies closed down. That means if 100 companies are opened in 2010, only 30 are open today. And this gentleman here is talking about just 30% being dead. What is more, another thing, I had told you that at 35 years, he's still an MSME. What does the report have to say? The report says that in India, even at the end of 40 years, companies have not even doubled their turnover and manpower. Whereas in Mexico, they have gone 3 times up. US, they have gone to nearly 7 times what the starting was. That means India has traditionally been a country where medium and small scale industries have struggled. Only a fraction of the total companies which are open, they really grow.
Mr. Arun, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
DP here, your voice is cracking. The extra noise that is coming. I'm sure at least others don't experience that. Has anyone else experienced that?
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if you can.
Now is it okay?
Yes.
No, when you talk, there is some extra cracking noise coming.
Is it okay now?
No, Mr.
The same.
Yeah.
A kind of a typing sound additionally.
Mr. DP?
Comes.
Yeah, yes, it is still the same.
I am unable to hear anyone.
We can hear you, Arun. We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Is it okay now?
But it's still the same. I think if it is not correctable, I think you can continue.
Voice is low.
Sir, along with your voice, some object, some extra noise is coming, as if something is rotating.
Okay, Mr. Arun, now talk
Probably
again.
wire. Some wire is scratching against the mic. Or your mic is scratching out.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, better, much better.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Is it okay now?
Yeah, much better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as I was saying, in India, traditionally MSMEs have not grown at all. They continue to stagnate and remain at that same level for 3 to 4 decades and then slowly perish. But that is not the case with other countries. Why is it so here? What is the reason? What this gentleman was telling, that he has been in the MSME sector for 3.5 decades and still he is struggling, is not new to only him. It's happening to nearly 99% of the MSMEs. And incidentally, the MSME constitutes nearly 98% of the total industry. That is the unfortunate part of it. I will now show you a picture. You please tell me what is visible to you. Yes, can you tell me what do you see? Would anyone want to answer me?
A slum kind of a look.
Okay, a slum.
Lot of clutters and messy.
Lot of clutter. Anybody else?
Sheer
Come on,
poverty,
friends, open up.
sheer poverty, and the
Poverty.
future of the children look very bleak.
Future of the
At the
children.
same time, ultra modern bike.
Basic infrastructure.
Yeah, there's a bike there.
Ultra modern bike, which must be costing more than 2-3 lakhs.
Manpower resource.
Huh?
Manpower resource.
People are not taking.
Lot
Yeah.
of children
People are
are there.
not taking care of.
One by one, so that everyone can talk. Yeah. And don't all of you unmute together, otherwise there will be problem in noise. Yes.
The children are very happy.
Children are happy. Okay.
Sir, utter disorder.
Unhygienic.
Unhygienic. Very good. Yes, Mr. Vinod.
Makeshift infrastructure, and it has continued to be there like that for some time, and nobody has made any point to change that.
Okay. Okay, let's move forward.
Sir, utter disorder, sir. Utter disorder.
Utter disorder. Okay.
More than the people, more than the place can take the people, sir. More than the people.
Sir, it
Yes,
looks
Mr. Chidambaram.
Poor population.
No, let
Lack
us
of
move on.
basic facilities.
Huh?
it looks
Lack
like
of basic facilities.
Lack of basic amenities. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Shanmugam.
Hello.
Yes.
More of low-skilled people with
No.
less education.
Yeah, no improvement in the lifestyle.
Okay, I can understand. You are all absolutely right. 200% right. Thank you. Let's move on. Value chain analysis. You must be wondering why I have not answered anything. I showed you a video, you gave your observation. I showed you a picture, you gave your observation. I have still not answered anything. From my side, I have not said anything. What is value chain and why is it important? This is a very important question. To answer this question, you need to know what is the job of a business leader. Yes, please tell me, what is the job of a business leader? Friends, all of you are business leaders. What is the job of a business leader?
A business leader should have a vision.
One
for
by
the
one,
next-
please. All don't unmute together. One by one. Yes. Please, what is the job of a business leader?
Lead the team to the vision that has been of the organization and coordinate everybody from the lowermost rung to the highermost rung.
Yes, anyone else?
Can I?
Yes, please. One by one, please
Yeah.
answer. I want everyone to
It
answer.
is to have a vision about the future, at least for the next 15 years, and upskill the people who are working under him and ensure a healthy, profitable business, which is also having an impact on the economy.
Thank you. Yes, anyone else?
Yeah, Dharmesh here.
Yes, Mr. Dharmesh.
So whatever the business the owner is doing or the proprietor is doing, to get the entire business into a business model, so that there is sufficient economy to the customer as well as to the business. So that
Can you please repeat it once more?
Pardon?
Can you repeat it once more?
To embed the entire business in a suitable business model, so there is sufficient economy across various process that is doing, right from sales, right from marketing, right from distribution, right from production, right from supply chain. So there is so much of economy in each and every component that it brings maximum benefit to the customer as well as to the owner.
Anyone else would like to try and answer me?
Yeah,
What is the job of a business leader?
I am Ravichandran.
Yes, Mr. Ravichandran.
The job of the business leader is to ensure and create the environment according to the current environment needs, and as well as taking care of the society to grow up in terms of education, in terms of employment, and also developing the second line leadership.
Anyone else?
The job of a business leader is to continuously add value to what he is doing so that the business becomes more valuable over a period of time, and its value is also added for the employees and the customers of the business so that it becomes self-sustaining and growth oriented.
Excellent. Super. Can we say the same thing in a slightly different manner, Mr. Vinod? That to unearth and create opportunities and leverage it. That is the job, main job of the business leader. Everything that told by others is also valid. The business leader has to do all those. But then if you prioritize, you will see that the most important job of a business leader is to unearth and create opportunities and leverage it. You see, he has a team of people working, doing all the other things, and he is responsible for that. But what is he accountable for individually? He is accountable to unearth and create opportunities and leverage it. Now, let us again go back to this picture. Now, what do you see? Can I have a few answers?
A multitude of opportunities.
Excellent. A huge amount of opportunities we see.
Sir, unexplored opportunities.
Huh?
Untapped on opportunities. Untapped
opportunities. Now, what was the difference between the earlier picture and this picture? The only difference between the earlier picture and this picture is the paradigm shift from a positive mindset to a growth mindset. When you look with the lens of opportunity at everything around you, you see opportunities. In management, there is an aphorism: what is watched grows. When you watch opportunities, when you look towards unearthing opportunities, your company grows. But when you are trying to manage, then what happens is that the chaos theory comes in, and the amount of entropy in the system keeps on growing, and slowly there is a decay of the entire enterprise which you are handling. Friends, the question now is, where do you look for opportunities? As a business leader, you are faced with the task of looking for opportunities, but where do you look for opportunities? What sort of opportunities do you look for? Because you just cannot one day go to the office and say, I am going to look for opportunities. Now, where do you look for it? In the dictionary? And then, having seen it, how do you leverage it? And when do you leverage it? These four questions are what are answered by value chain analysis. A value chain analysis tells you in a corporate entity where you should look for opportunities, what sort of an opportunity you should look for, how you should leverage it, and when you should leverage it. The concept of value chain was introduced and propounded in management literature by the great Michael Porter in his book, Competitive Advantage, in the year 1985. Before 1985, there were two types of competitive advantages which were being studied. One was comparative advantage, the other was a differentiating advantage. And today, a third type of advantage has come called the design advantage. And it has superseded both these, but all these three work on these four principles of where, what, how, and when. Let us understand what is this value chain. The first component of value chain is inbound logistics. What is inbound logistics? The purchasing of material. Material comes to you from outside. Whatever type of material it may be. It could, for service, it could be a different type of material. For manufacturing, it would be different type of material. But material coming in is called inbound logistics. The second is operations, where this material, raw material, is converted into finished goods through certain processes. That is called operations. In the case of consultants or knowledge industry, it is a type of problem solving which is being done. In manufacturing industry. Raw material is being converted into finished goods. In service industry, a job work is taken to its logical end. That is the operations. The third is outbound logistics. That is having manufactured a goods, you reach it to your customer. That is the outbound logistics. The fourth is having reached it to the market or the segment where you want to sell it. You do certain marketing and sales activities. You help the customer understand the need for this product, the value this product brings to him, and then create in him a desire to utilize the value being offered by you. That is what is marketing and sales. And then you have got the service, the fifth component of the, what do you call it, value chain. That is your service. Having purchased your product, having adopted your product, the person requires certain help, and that is service. All these five together constitute the primary activities. These are the primary activities. This is what business is all about. And to support this, there are four secondary activities. What are they? Number one, procurement. Mind you, the word is not purchase, it is procurement. Second is technology development. That means to do all these things, certain technologies are required, which you have to develop in an organization. The fourth is human resources. All these are going to be done by people. They are only a support function. In the value chain, you have only inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service. And in the support functions, you have procurement, technology development, human resources, and then finally the infrastructure, the entire company structure, which drives all these activities. The final value minus the cost for all these constitutes your final margin. Instead of talking so vaguely, let us see each individual and see how it is integrated. Because as a business leader, you must be doing this maybe in a structured manner, maybe in an unstructured manner. But hopefully after today, you will create it as a checklist and do it in a structured manner. It will make your life extremely easy and it will make your business extremely safe. You know, during my 43 years, I have been at the topmost position for over 30 years. I used to be called the checklist manager because anything I used to do with a checklist. Because I had no faith in my memory or my ability to remember everything. I would suggest those of you who are serious business leaders, kindly develop this checklist habit, then you will not miss out on anything. Let us see the first one called the inbound logistics. What all does inbound logistics constitute? In each of the elements of this inbound logistics, there is a component where you can create value. At every step, you can create value for your product, for your company. In other words, there is every point, you know, we were talking, this subject we are talking in relation to value proposition. How do we create value proposition for our company? Two companies in the same sector, one of them succeeds, the other struggles for the simple reason, the one which has succeeded, knowingly or unknowingly, it has been able to create value in some part of its steps, of one of these steps, or in multiple steps. We will see it through two case studies at the end of this session. In inbound logistics, material handling. The material is coming. How do you handle it? Warehousing. How are you warehousing it? Your inventory control. What sort of an inventory control system do you have in place? Are you holding excessive inventory? What sort of an inventory control and procurement procedure are you following? Because your inbound logistics is directly linked with your procurement. When you procure raw material, it is procurement for manufacturing and operations, but you might be procuring For technology development also, you might be procuring computers, you might be procuring vehicles for movement of goods, you might be procuring office automation items. So you see, procurement is a vast thing. The entire company runs on materials procured. How are you maintaining the inventory? Vehicle scheduling. How are you scheduling the vehicles which are going to be bringing the products to you, the raw materials to you? Are you scheduling it in a proactive manner, or are you scheduling it in a reactive manner? And the returns to supplier. How does this happen? When your procurement procedure follows the principles of proper specifications and identifying the suppliers who can give the correct service to you. And when you have specified what standardization is required in the material that you want, then there are going to be returns also. How are you handling it? This is as far as the inbound logistics is concerned. There are 5 areas in it. Material handling. How do you handle the material as soon as it comes? Are you getting it checked to ensure that it follows the specifications which you have mentioned? Does it follow the quality assurance protocol laid down by you? Because if your material, the raw material which you have ordered to a particular specification does not tally that specification and you accept it, the output, the finished goods is not going to be of the standard that you require. That is going to create further problems of wastage. Warehousing, how do you maintain the goods which are coming into your place? Are you particular about how the storage should be? How is the inventory control? Are you following a scientific zero inventory method so that, you know, based upon your flow, the product will keep coming? Because waiting of goods in your warehouse is also a waste. Here I would like to say that 26% of the total revenue earned is what companies lose as waste. There are 7 different types of waste under the heading of Kanban, a Japanese methodology, which has Muri, Mura, Muda. Muri means burden, Mura means unevenness, Muda means waste. All these 3 put together constitute 26% of wastage of revenue earned by a company. That means if you are making 20 rupees profit out of 100 rupees sales, already you are on -6 if you are not going to be taking care of wastage in the corporate sector. And all these constitute, you know, they give you an opportunity for waste in all these things. Material handling, if the checking is not right, there can be wastage. If the returns are not being properly followed, there can be wastage. Warehousing is not done properly, there can be wastage. Inventory control is not scientific, there can be wastage. Scheduling, vehicle scheduling is not done properly, there can be wastage of movement and transportation. You will have to check these. Then we come to operations. In operations, we have machining. Machining means the raw material being worked upon by the machine to be converted into components. Then you have assembly. How do you assemble those components? What sort of a flow is there? You know, in the early 20th century, in the year about 1901 or 1890, around that period, the world's largest consumer today, US, was a poor country. It wasn't a rich country. Today, it is the world's largest consumer. You would be surprised to know that one individual who was rejected by the banks saying that we can't give you loan because you can't do business, the type of business you want with the money that you have, he had gone to a meat manufacturing factory. And there he saw an assembly line where the meat was being transported from one point to another on a conveyor belt. He asked a question to himself: why should my workers in the factory shop floor go to the components? Why can't the components come to me? He set that into motion in his factory in Michigan, Detroit. The outcome of it was a huge explosion in the US, which has converted US into one of the world's largest consumer. He was one of the people responsible for triggering the consumerist society. Can anyone tell me who this person is?
Mr. Henry Ford.
Absolutely right, Samayak. Thank you for joining. You're always there to give me the right answer. Thank you. Thank you. Henry Ford. Absolutely right. You'll be surprised to know that when he created this assembly value proposition, he could create 20 in every 27 seconds, one Ford T model came out. In 1913, there were only 20,000 cars being manufactured. By 1922, 2 million Ford cars used to be manufactured in the US. That is the power of assembly. Then we have packaging. Packaging is another area where lots of, value proposition is possible. Maintenance. This is one area where many factories, they lose out. They shut down the machines for maintenance only when there is no work. They don't have a standardized formula by which, maintenance will be done regularly. In Toyota, whatever may be the demand, when it is time for maintenance, they shut down the shop floor. Because if you maintain your machinery properly, you will always be able to ensure that the flow is not disturbed. There is no breakdown, and you will be able to run the assembly line on a continuous basis, machining on a continuous basis. Then we have the testing. This is one area which is very important. Many companies, they have this, testing is a product should, in pharma industry, they say from 90 to 110%. Many companies operate at 90%. Why? They feel, that will, it gives them a cushion of 10% extra margin. But what they don't realize is that creates a bigger problem, because there is a lot of wastage and rejection at the customer's end. If the testing is done properly, if you add value proposition in the testing, if you are very stringent, you get less rejections. Then finally, printing. Many products, the products required, printing is required on the products. After doing a great job on everything, people lose out on this. They try to save a couple of pennies here, and they come up with a shoddy outlook. Finally, the facility operations, the entire facility, how it is being operated, how it is being maintained, what is the flow for the entire facility, not just for the shop floor. All these areas are areas where you can create value, and that value will reflect finally in the product. We come now to the third, outbound logistics. This is another area where there is lots of possibilities are there. A couple of, you will be very surprised to know that GlaxoSmithKline Beecham tied up with Boots and then launched their Augmentin. Why? Because of outbound logistics. Both of them had different distribution systems, different methodologies of reaching the customer. And when they combined it together, it became so powerful that Augmentin took more than 70% of the market together. How do you warehouse your finished goods? Again, the same question comes. Warehousing. How careful are you in storage of your product? How do you process the order? How fast do you give it? One of the main things, these Pizza Hut and Pizza Corner and Domino's, the success reason is they said, if we don't reach you, your order in 30 minutes, it is free. Tell me one thing. What was the reason for their confidence? Their order processing capability was the reason. That became their value proposition. I will reach you the pizza in 30 minutes or it is free, don't pay me. How beautifully this one area has proved to be a value proposition for Pizza Hut, Pizza Corner, Domino's, and all the other pizza for companies. Handling, finished goods handling. This is one area which is very important. Lots of damage happens in finished goods handling. Imagine a company like Amazon. Billions of orders they handle every day, and so efficiently they handle. If they did not have this as a value proposition, can you imagine how much of rejections will be there? If people don't handle it properly? Scheduling of these finished goods. This is another area. You give a commitment to your customer that you will reach the product at this time. It doesn't reach him. What is the impression you make? Based upon your commitment, he has scheduled so many things. This is another area where you can create a value proposition. You see the advertisement of Blue Dart, what do they say? If you want your goods to reach in time, Blue Dart it. Scheduling. Again, vehicle operations, delivery vehicle operation. All your scheduling is going to depend upon the scheduling of the vehicles. Then we come to marketing and sales. Another very, 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 very important area where you can create a huge amount of value proposition. Promotion of the product. Are you sure what value message you have to deliver to your customer? Because your promotion is going to depend purely upon the message that you have got. If your message is not clear, your promotion is going to be messed up. Advertising. Having got the message clear, do you know how to convey it in print media or digital media? Salesforce. On a one-on-one basis, when you are going to be dealing with people, and the main interface is a person, your Salesforce, is he tuned enough to handle the complexities of meeting and convincing your customer? Is he trained adequately in the art of communication? Is the communication strategy clear to him? Many companies today consider training of Salesforce to be an expenditure. They don't understand that it is the investment based on which their company runs. Products cannot move by themselves. People will have to move the product. The product can only sit in one place. It is the ability of your sales force, your promotion, your advertising campaign that products move. What steps are you taking for that? How are you creating a value proposition here? Quoting. What sort of a price are you quoting? How are you quoting it? Is it catchy enough for the person to be able to put his hand in his pocket and take out the money? What channel have you selected to reach it? There are so many channels available. Are you depending upon one single channel? Or are you reaching different segments of your customer through different channels so that nothing is left to chance? Channel relation. What sort of a relation are you having with that channel? How well do you understand that channel? Do you understand the nuances of how that channel operates? What are the strengths and weaknesses of that challenge? Are you in a position to leverage it? Finally, pricing. Pricing is a very, very, very complex thing. There is fixed pricing, there is dynamic pricing. Which type of pricing are you adopting? What sort of pricing are you adopting? For which segment of your customer are you adopting it? You can have different pricing for the same product for different segments. Have you looked into it? Finally, we come to service. I always tell that the problem begins the moment the person purchases a product. Till a person purchases a product, the product is very, very valuable for that person. In his mind, he has put a very high value to it. But the moment he has purchased it, he thinks the product is not worth the money he has given. Touch your heart and see whether this has happened with you or not. You go to a shop, you see a diamond ring, you like it very much, you pay 3 lakhs and buy it. But the moment you wear it, you start thinking, is it worth it? This happens with every product. It is at this juncture that service comes in. And this is one area where you can create tremendous amount of value for your customer. You know, this area makes the difference between retaining a customer and losing him. A new customer acquisition costs 7 times more than the value of retaining a customer. If retaining a customer costs you 1 rupee, getting a new customer is going to cost you 7 rupees. And if your service is not strong, if your value proposition in terms of service to your customer is not strong, then you will lose it. And you will spend 7 times more to get another person. It is always advisable to look into this aspect more than is necessary so that you can hold them. Installation is one area which is very important. How many times have we purchased things? Like, we buy a water filter. Till we buy the water filter, the company will keep chasing us. Once the water filter has been brought to our house and kept, now you have to chase them for them to come and install it. Repair. How many times we have to telephone for the service and repair? Think all the goods that we are there in our house, like ACs, refrigerators, water filters, gas stove, they all require service and repair. We have to keep running behind the companies. What they don't understand is that it is not the only time we are going to buy a refrigerator. A person buys a number of refrigerators in his lifetime, and they will lose this customer if they don't give the correct type of service. Second thing is there is something called cross-selling and upselling. Supposing I have a Godrej refrigerator, if I get good installation support, good repair and service support, I might decide next time I want an AC to go for a Godrej AC, or I will go for some other AC. That is cross-selling. Or if I want a better quality AC, a better quality refrigerator, I might go in for a higher end Godrej refrigerator if all these things are better. That is upselling. All these things are decided only by service. What sort of a value proposition? There is so much of scope here. Training. All the materials which are to be used by an individual, by a family, they might not know how to use it. What sort of a training are you giving them? What sort of a training are you giving your sales people, service people, so that they are up to mark in that? This is one area where definitely there is scope for improvement. Parts supply. How fast is the parts supply? I had a problem with my AC. The repair person came and told me that, sir, you have an aluminum coil AC. If you put a copper coil AC, it will work much better. I said, fine. He said, sir, I will have to take the aluminum coil and go and then bring the copper coil. It took him 5 days to come back with the copper coil. His contention was that the copper coil was not available in the store. Just imagine. So 5 days, I had to be there without an AC. I had to shift to my son's room, inconveniencing him also, inconveniencing me also. All because the parts was not there with them. When you know these things are essential, you should have made necessary provisions to ensure that there is no breakdown of these. Product adjustments. You see, sometimes they give a product which we find we don't like it. For some reason, emotional reason, we want it replaced. And then, the whole rigmarole starts. Why this, why that? Do you know why Amazon has become such a big success? They send you by courier, you place the order online, the product comes, you open it. If you have not removed the price tag, you don't like it, you just go back online, inform that you want to return it. Next day, the Amazon person comes, no questions asked, he takes it. Tell me one thing. Will you not develop confidence in this company, knowing fully well that your money will be returned immediately or a replacement will be given? Why is it that every company cannot do like that? There is a huge scope for value proposition here. Your customer will be so satisfied if you respond immediately. Value activities are closely linked. Don't think all these are standalone. They are all very closely linked with each other. We will see how they are linked. How you can create a unique value proposition by addressing various aspects of it. Small tweaking here and there will ensure that you create a gigantic value proposition. Let us see. You have stringent material specification. I told you, return when we came to that inbound logistics and I was talking about return to supplier. If you have got stringent material specification, when the goods come, you check it and it doesn't match, you will return it, isn't it? Twice it happens, third time, your supplier will be very careful and he will give as per your specification. And along with that, greater in-process inspection, testing. You test the finished goods. You ensure that the finished goods is up to quality, the quality assurance is maintained. What happens? Reduce in service cost, because the product which will come out, finished goods which will come out, will be of excellent quality, and there will be reduced cost of servicing it because of problems coming in it. Now let us see in the same thing. You purchase high quality material. Stringent material in the specifications means high quality material. You purchase high quality material and you have the best of technology in place. Technology development. The second, support. You have the best of technology. What happens? You have reduced waste. Wastage is reduced. That 26% gets reduced. So again, you see, you are moving towards profit. On one side, you have reduced the cost of service because of stringent material specification and greater in-process inspection. You got stringent in-process inspection, which rejects unnecessary material. So there's a reduced cost, reduced wastage is there. Then you come to training, timing the promotional campaign. In the marketing area, you time your promotional campaign, you train your people properly, and you customize the offerings which you are giving. That leads to capacity utilization because there will be regular demand, the flow will be maintained. When there will be capacity utilization, reduced wastage, reduction in waste service cost, what happens? You develop cost leadership. This is what is cost leadership. When we think of cost leadership, we break our head what to do. Here are 6 things you can do in your value chain, which will straight take you to cost leadership. And each one of them is possible to be done. Cost leadership will not be a challenging task for you if you have a checklist. Check whether the material specification is as per your standardizations and your requirement. Check whether the inspection of the finished goods is stringent enough. Please mute. Check whether you are purchasing high quality material. Check whether the technology you are using is high end as per the requirement of the date. Check whether the timing of promotional campaigns are right. Check whether the offerings are customized to the segment which you are targeting. You do this, you automatically reach cost leadership. There are 3 activities within each category. We saw 5 categories, 5 primary and 4 secondary and support categories. We spoke only about the primary for the simple reason that value chain analysis is a huge subject. I want to, make you aware that you need to spend time understanding value analysis. If any one of you want to understand it further, you can contact me. I will definitely help you to understand it with regards to your company and your processes. Don't worry about it. Just understand the gist of it now. There are 3 types within each category. The first is the direct category. What does the direct category do? The direct, indirect, and the quality assurance. The direct category is the one where directly value is created for the buyer. Indirect is it helps you perform the direct activities continuously. For a simple, let us take an example. You are purchasing goods from a vendor. That is direct activity. Now, what is helping you purchase these goods from the vendor? Can anyone tell me?
Certificate of analysis.
Huh?
Certificate of analysis.
Hello? Who is it?
Suresh.
Yes, Mr. Suresh, yes?
Certificate of analysis.
Okay, anybody else?
Ravichandran, probably your logistics, transportation, all those people.
Okay, anyone else? First is
HR and
yeah. Please mute whoever are unmuted.
HR and technology.
Yes, Mr. Nishant.
Yeah, Mr. Nishant here.
Yeah.
That indirect technologies can be HR and technology.
Okay. Now let me tell you, see, you are purchasing from someone. Please mute whoever it is unmuted. There is a lot of noise coming in. You see, purchasing is direct creation of value for the buyer because that goods is going to be converted into the finished goods. But before you do that, you qualify the supplier. That is an indirect activity. After qualifying the supplier, you are going to be giving him specification. That is indirect activity. Once the goods comes back, you are going to be inspecting that material. That is indirect activity. Then ensuring quality of both these activities is a quality assurance. Whether both these activities are being followed as per the protocol laid down is the quality assurance. How does this act as value? Number one, the direct activity helps you in capacity utilization. If the goods are going to be flowing into your warehouse at the times correctly required, it is going to lead to capacity utilization. If you are going to be placing the order and if you have identified the correct supplier, you have followed up with him and done all the indirect activities, the flow will be maintained. There will be no break in that flow. And if both these are taken care of by quality assurance, rejection and wastage will come down. By all these 3, automatically value will be created. You see, we always do things. I have seen many companies where I have worked and where I have been asked to help. I have found that things are done on an ad hoc basis. There is no any planning for where to order, when to order, what to follow up. Suddenly, one day, Arey Baba, the good should have come by today. Why it has not come? Can you please check up? It is then that the telephone call goes. So you see, if you have a correct flow, if you look into this value chain, each aspect which I have discussed, you make it into a checklist and check each aspect. It is not, it's not rocket science. It's pure common sense. If we do this, I can assure you, you will take your company to the next level, smiling all the way. And where will you smile all the way to? To the bank. Because money will start pouring in. These are small things. There is this saying, for the want of a nail, the war was lost. It was just a nail, a horseshoe nail, due to which the war was lost. Would anyone have thought that a horseshoe nail would be so important? Similarly, all these simple activities are so important. If you just look at it, you will be able to find out what requires to be done. Knowing is Very important, because the moment you know there is a lacuna here, you will act. You are passionate about your company, you will definitely act. You will not let it go. So look into it. Make a checklist and look into it. Sustainability of value chain analysis. You see, for every aspect of the value chain, there are 3 responsibilities which you have to fulfill. If you want to convey a message to the world that you are a serious company and you should be taken seriously, these 3 aspects you will have to look into. What are those 3 aspects? Society, economics, and environment. Let us see how each one of these work in this. Raw material procurement. What has it got to do with society? Are you maintaining fair trade practices with your suppliers? Are you treating them the way you would like them to treat you? What is the source and cost? Where are they sourcing the material from, and at what cost are you getting? Are you aware of it? Are you ensuring that the raw material that you procure does not have any harmful effect on the environment? RM processing, that it has low impact on society. You know, waste, effluents, how are you disposing it off? Are you ensuring that it is being processed and the toxicity is being removed before it is being pumped into the rivers? Minimize resource cost. The minimal resource cost, minimalization of the resource cost will ensure that you achieve optimal costing for your product. Use the minimum amount of resources necessary. If for 98% output is possible with 100% input, ensure that the 98% is available. You know, there will be some amount of loss in transferring of the raw material into the finished goods, but how less can you maintain it? Because the less wastage is there, the less impact it will have on the environment. Component manufacturing. Are you paying fair wages? Fair wages is very important. It is not an expenditure. Because when an employee leaves and goes, he costs you 33% of his total annual cost. That means 4 months cost is going to be, paid by you in terms of recruiting a replacement for him, and that person will come without the necessary experience this person has. It is always more sensible to pay fair wages and ensure that you retain a person rather than lose him and then blame him. Minimize manufacturing cost. And again, resources, how minimal you can use in your component manufacturing so that the environment is not affected. Because the difference between the input and the output is going into the environment. It is not going anywhere else. Assembly and packaging. Minimize your packaging. Don't be extravagant in your packaging. Many people put unnecessary things into their packaging thinking it is going to make a big impression. Minimize packaging cost, because anyway, the moment the product, the packaging is going to be removed and going to be discarded. I'm not telling compromise on the look of the packaging. I'm only telling minimize the cost. Check what can be done to minimize it. Minimize packaging so that again environment is not affected. Distribution and purchase. Minimize transportation, because transportation, long distance transportation, greater area of pollution. Try to source your material from near your place. That is what Muri Mura Muda also says. Muri Mura Muda, in the 7 waste, transportation is one of the waste. We try to get products from distance when many of those products are available near to us. Minimize transportation cost. That again can be done if you source it from nearby. And then minimize your total transportation. Again, environment gets affected. Installation. Minimize the waste to the society. Installation and use, if it is being done efficiently, society will be happy. As I told you, when I did not get the copper cubing in time, I was disturbed. That means my environment was disturbed. My behavior might have been cranky for those 5 days, and I might have disturbed my family members, my friends, and the society I was moving around in. This could have been avoided. Customer satisfaction is the main thing. Here, economics is not about money, but about customer satisfaction. And again, environment, minimal waste. Maintenance services, minimize repairs and waste. How can you do that? You can do that by ensuring that you order, a standard material, you have high-end manufacturing. That will ensure that you get good quality product, you have good inspection in place, so that unnecessarily damaged goods or substandard goods do not go out into the market. That will reduce repairs, that will reduce waste. Repairs and service revenue. This is one area, the less repair is there, the higher can be the revenue you can charge to repair it. This will also minimize the waste. And finally, the end of the life. Always have material which you can upcycle. You can recycle it. What is the end of the life product? That should be consumer goodwill. They should feel and come back to you. That is the only way you can retain your customer. If you have to at the end, see, every product has an end. When that product's life cycle ends, if you have not satisfied the customer after selling him through your service and support, he will switch the company and go to somebody else. Remember, you spent 7 rupees to get him. If you have to lose him and get another person in his place, you'll have to spend another 7 rupees. Whereas if you have given all the support, you will be spending only 1 rupee to retain him. The total cost will be only 8 rupees on that customer. Otherwise, it will be 14 rupees and the cycle will start all over again. And finally, ensure that at the end of the life, the biological and technical nutrient value is not damaging to the environment. Let us see one company which became a billion-dollar company because of this. This company was started by 2 friends, college friends. They decided to go and do it, and how they did it. They created 50 separate subcontractors. You see, this company's name is Method, and it's a $10 billion company in the US. And they market only through a community. They formed a community of people. They don't market either digital platform, advertising, or anything. They made these things and they distributed it and created a community. And that community, by referral and word of mouth, has turned this company into a $10 billion company. And it is one of the largest companies supplying these, toiletry items in the US. 50 separate subcontracts to develop a nimble and flexible manufacturing process. They don't depend upon 1 or 2. As many manufacturers as they can, they source their products from. Green sourcing method with suppliers and manufacturers to track environmental impact and making of its product. They got very stringent rules in place for the supply of their goods by their manufacturers. They don't accept anything which does not fall within the green sourcing. That means each and every material which they get has to be environment friendly. If there is any chemical in it, they will reject it. They are so strict. Avoid using toxic chemicals and destructive production practices. They totally avoid it. Outbound logistics, readily identifiable, bright and colorful packaging, so that immediately when the people see it on the shelf, they will recognize it. And finally, sales and marketing. As I told you, they created a community called People Against Dirty Community, offered all usual customer perks, deals, and early looks at new products, inviting people to join community. And this community drives their marketing by word of mouth. You can see in inbound logistics, in operations, in outbound logistics, sales and marketing. And there is no question of service because the product is a consumable product and it is used away and the community supports each other. Friends, have you heard of this company called ID? On 16th of April, a report came that their high value items, they could not sell during the COVID. Something happened. One lady who had gone to Mysore got stuck there and she could not come because of lockdown. Her parents were stuck in Bangalore. Her parents were very old and she became panicky because they did not have any food. They had maybe food for 2 or 3 days and they did not know what to do, where to go, because nobody could get out. Everything was locked. In panic, she telephoned to ID. This company is run by a gentleman called PC Mustafa. This company was started in 2005. We are talking about March around 16th or 17th, 2020. What happened was that gentleman, he immediately thought what to do. He was a service-minded person. He thought, I need to somehow help this old couple. He talked to the authorities and reached them the batter, idli batter. And then a thought struck him that they must not be the only people who are stuck like this. So how do I reach the food to all those people who are stuck? He started talking to the authorities, and then he realized that the below strata, the lower middle class was really suffering. So he found out in localities, places where he can reach this batter so that, they could come or collect it, or the authorities could reach it to them for a minimal cost. The outcome was in 2019-2020, they were doing 20 crore per month. Whereas in March, April, they did 24 crores sales when all their premium products were stocked. And this is the way they did it. He identified the pain. The segment he identified as being the, lower strata of the society, the people who were, lower middle class society. The context was the COVID. The significance was that they could not get food. They could not get it from the market. The emotion was fear. What will happen? The channel was all those small places in those every area where he could reach the batter, from where he could supply it to the authorities, to the people. The relationship was he started informing them through social media, which are the places in which locality the product was available. The revenue stream was payment. Through the authorities, it came to him. Through online, it came to him. And it was with bare minimum margin. The activity was every day he was using his facility, which was existing, to ensure that the product was manufactured. And through the authorities, he was reaching it to those pockets. Existing resource, there was no extra resource which was needed. The partners were the authorities and those, well-minded people in those localities who are ready to allow their place to be used for a compensation, definitely. Finally, the cost was affordable. The outcome, my dear friends, of this value chain analysis which he did was, during this COVID period, India ate 35 crore idlis, 10 crore parotas, 4.3 crore chapatis, 2 crore cups of coffee. And he took it nationally. This is the impact that value chain analysis can do. Why am I telling this? He did it now. He had started the company in 2005. Just imagine, in 2019, 2020, he was doing 20 crores without this. In March, April 2020, he did 24 crores without that. If he had used the same value chain analysis earlier, his turnover would have been 44 crores otherwise in 2019, 2020 per month. This is what he could have done right from the beginning, but it required a COVID for him to start this. Incidentally, he is continuing this even after the other channels have opened. Friends, there is enormous potential to drive a good value proposition by doing an effective value chain analysis. If you have done it, I'm very happy. You must be growing fast and doing a great job in the market. If not, please start doing it immediately. Prepare a checklist and go through it and see which are the areas where you can strengthen your value chain and take it forward. If you require any help in this, reach out to me. Top League Training and Business Consulting and Arun Subramanian are always available for you. Thank you for your patience. I am now opening the floor for questions. Yes, friends. Any questions?
Friends, you can unmute one by one and ask your questions.
Yes, any questions? Absolute pin drop silence.
No, because you filled all our minds with all the data. No, it's a phenomenon. It is a very phenomenal session. You filled with all the inputs. Actually, all the minds are, I think, seriously thinking to become an entrepreneur.
Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, please, please.
See, the type of activities you said.
Who is it? Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Jagannath Rao.
Huh?
Jagannath Rao.
Yes, tell me. Mr. Durga Prasad, can you focus the speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
No,
Yes, Mr. Jagannath Rao.
The activities categories, you said the value adding, direct activities, indirect activities, and QA. Sometimes when the activities are not planned, they say some activities are vestigial.
I'm unable to hear you properly. Can you please?
No.
You please let me see you so that I will be able to relate. Please let me see. I have the video on, please. Mr. Indrajitu, value proposition can be used anywhere and everywhere.
No, there are some activities, they call it as vestigial.
That can't be what?
Vestigial. In value analysis, they say direct, indirect, and then vestigial. Because they not only not required, they may create some negative effect on your activities.
Yes, that goes into lean management. You see, there are value-added activities. There are non-value-added activities which are still essential. Okay, value addition is defined as any activity for which the customer is willing to pay money. But there are non-value-added activities which are also essential to support the value-added activities. The lean concept is all about only keeping these two and doing away with various other processes and activities which are not required. Yes, definitely, but we are talking here of value chain. We are not talking about value addition. We are trying to understand how the chain works. What are the various steps in the value chain where you can integrate value addition, where you can create a value proposition for your customer? Am I clear, Mr. Jagannath Rao?
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Just, sir, this is M. Chidambaram, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chidambaram, tell me.
First, I think all are speechless by your speech. That's what I could say. You have put in all the chain together. It's not a doubt, just an experience sharing. Many times during the summer vacation, we go in for all these. You're talking about installation and repair work, isn't it? That is a wonderful point, which I've experienced personally. The moment we go by these offers, we pay the money, and it takes 1 month for them to first to deliver in our place, then some more time to install. Then the repair comes, all these things. So these people are not at all bothered about it. Even the top companies and even the local dealers, how many ever times we complain. So what I would suggest is we merely don't go, that does it depend upon the retailer or more about the person, the big brand names. We buy only through a retailer, all these things. So when it comes in terms of delivery, installing and repair work. So I just would like you to throw light on that.
You see, I'll tell you, Mr. Chidambaram, there was one area, in service where we were talking about training. You remember?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, a big company, it is expected to train its dealers to act in the interest of the customer. Yes. That means they have been remiss in the service part of it.
Yes.
You see, that is one area where even a big company can create a value proposition. All they have to do is, in sourcing a dealer, they should enter into a contract with him, telling him that you will be trained by us and you will have to give service like this. When Pizza Hut says that my pizza, if you don't receive in 22 minutes, it is free.
Yes.
These companies can say, if my dealer does not attend to you within 22 minutes, it is free.
Yes.
Now then punish the dealer that you have not installed it in 22 minutes. No, you pay me. The customer will not. Then everything will get streamlined and that will become a value proposition. You see, the whole idea is every point of the value chain gives you an opportunity to create value.
Yes.
Every point.
Yes.
Are we doing it? You see, that gentleman was complaining that 35 years, 3.5 decades, I have been an MSME. Why was he an MSME for 3.5 decades is the question I want to ask. You did not start a company because you wanted to be an MSME. You started a company because you wanted to grow and you wanted to give a good, comfortable life, a prosperous life to your family members and yourself. Why are you not looking into all these things? The reason is you don't know. 99% of the people don't know these things. And that is why I put a question mark when he said, entrepreneurs are having a problem with man, money, and material. No, they are not having a problem with man, money, and material. They are having a problem with knowledge. When you start a company, you have money, then only you have started it. When you start a company, you know where to get the material. The material is available. You have the manpower. You lose all three in the course of your doing business because you don't have the knowledge of doing business. My point is gain the knowledge. That is available today from Toply. Take it. I'm not charging you for it. I'm available to you whenever you want. Or the entire net is there, internet is there. You don't want Arun Subramanian, fine. The internet is there, learn. And do business and grow and prosper. Money is not a problem. Material is not a problem. What is a problem is, if I don't know what to do with it, what will happen? If I don't know what to do with my money, I will lose it.
Excellent.
If I don't know how to handle a person, he will leave me and go. If I don't know how to utilize the resources, material resources available to me, I will squander that material resource. Instead of getting 100 units for 10 kg, I will get 50 units, and then 50 units will be lost. And then I will not be cost effective. That is what is happening in most cases.
Yes, sir. I fully agree with you, sir. Knowledge is what is lacking. And finally, to finish off my thing, and most of these guys, even the top brands, they are using for service providing not really trained people. Somebody they hire and go. That is the problem which you're rightly highlighted, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chidambaram. Very nice of you.
This is Suresh.
Yes,
May
Mr. Suresh.
allow me to ask a question. Actually, when we are talking about the consumeristic society, based on the consumeristic volume only, the business will grow and evolve.
Are you talking about value chain analysis or something else?
Yes, value chain analysis came from the topic of consumeristic society when you started the topic.
That was something else, Mr. Suresh. If you have any questions about value chain, ask me. I'm not interested in entering into a long-winded discussion on consumeristic society. No, please.
Even I haven't asked a question, just for stopping.
Please ask.
If a company is designed in a well-mannered, the value chain, cycle and everything, if the longer duration or shorter duration or some kind of disruptions may happen, that product, even the beautifully he designed the value chain also, then what will happen? That is the example of COVID. We are giving example of food industry, one example. What about the other industries? Just I want to know much more in this. How value chain is protect me not to fail in the business.
So you are talking about a disruptive situation and extraordinary, situation which happens maybe once in 100 years.
Not once in 100 years. It is
COVID does not happen every day, Mr. Suresh. I'm not going to be entering into any hypothetical discussion with you. If you are interested, you can talk to me afterwards on a hypothetical situation. I will give you time. A value chain is something which is existing on the course of business, be it COVID or otherwise. If the entire factory is locked down, if there is no supply of material, and nobody is going to be in a position to consume anything, no chain will operate. We are discussing about a situation, a business, which can be done profitably during conditions with mild disruption. COVID is not a mild disruption. It's a massive disruption. And it is a disruption which cannot be handled so easily. And a value chain will sustain itself even under COVID disruption if it is well oiled, so that when the market will again open, it will optimally work. Thank you. Anyone else, please? Any other questions? Yes, anyone has any questions other than this?
Sir, can I ask one? There is another here. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. See, now this value chain analysis.
Can you please hold your mic closer to you, because I'm unable to hear you. That's why I'm asking. Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
No, this value chain analysis is so important for success. Do you have any module for small industries?
I'm unable to understand your question. Are you asking whether value chain analysis is so important for success?
Yeah, so important for success. We can see from your presentation. So the small micro industries, they may not be able to afford very, costly training department and all that. So do you have any?
See, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Jagannath Rao. You know the story of that elephant, isn't it? We all go to temple, we find that an elephant is standing with a rope tied to its leg. We have all seen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now the story is, everyone knows this story, that when the elephant was small, they tied a rope to its chain to its leg and tied it to a tree. It tried to break and go. It couldn't. Slowly it gets conditioned that it can't break itself free. When it becomes a big elephant also, when a small rope is tied and left on the floor, even without tying to anything, it thinks it is bound to something and it can't move and people are safe. You see, value chain analysis, whatever the size of the company, be it a one-man company or a 1,000-person company, if it is practiced, it will become an inherent intrinsic trait of operation. And as the company will grow, it will grow along with it. Value chain analysis is very important for the simple reason that each and every point is a point in the value chain where there can be loss. Yeah. Please check. When I told you that 26% loss is of wastage, please check it, whether I'm telling the truth or not. Now, where does this 26% loss take place? It takes place in all these places. Imagine, supposing there is a 1-day delay in the goods coming from your supplier to you, and your shop floor is waiting for the goods to come for 1 day. 25 working days are there in the factory. 1 day the factory is not working because the goods has not reached. There is a 4% loss. There is a 4% loss or not?
Loss of time and output.
Time loss is there, no? No, this was avoidable.
Yes.
Now you are buying goods from Rajkot. It takes 15 days to come. And you are paying extra freight for the goods to come from Rajkot. If you had sourced it from nearby place and you had put stringent, specifications and followed it up properly and got it, that 15 days could have been converted into 5 days. 25 days working, you are getting it in 10 days. Do you realize now you could have rotated the product 2.5 times in a month? Will that not generate profits for you? You see, at each and every point, if you analyze, what will be the benefit? Just imagine, you have stringent, inspections in place. Some of the products, maybe let us say 10% of the products are rejected on quality basis in your inspection. What would happen if these 10% products go out into the market? What will be your image? What sort of a service department will you require to attend to that? Each and every point, Mr. Jagannath Rao, believe me, in this value chain is so crucial and important that if you don't look into it, the company will be in trouble.
We're losing an opportunity.
Huh?
We are losing an opportunity. We're losing an opportunity.
Yes, you are losing a huge opportunity to create a value proposition. Just imagine, you telephone, what is one of the big advantages of buying a Dell computer? Can you tell me?
It is robust. It is very robust and reliable.
Every computer is robust and reliable, but one of the biggest advantages is the service. You telephone to them that there is a problem, immediately they ask you to download any disk on your computer, take the computer under their control, correct it and give it back to you. Don't you think it is a huge advantage to buy a Dell computer then?
Yeah, definitely.
See, now this is where service becomes very important. You see, I'll tell you, each and every point of the value chain is an opportunity for you to build a value proposition. You see, if somebody wants to be successful in business, one has to have a very good grounding in the foundational principles of doing business. These foundational principles are how to create a business model canvas so that you will understand your business holistically, how to create a value proposition for your product, how to identify the need of your customer, how to create innovative products so that that need can be fulfilled, how to engage your employees because they are the one who are going to run your company. See, these foundational principles, if we understand, doing business becomes a pleasure. It is not a stress anymore. Today, most business people undergo stress for the simple reason that they don't understand these foundational principles. They are very intelligent, they are very courageous, they are very motivated, but unfortunately, they have a blind spot, and that is the tendency to think that I know everything, nothing more is needed to be known. This tendency sometimes kills a business leader. I'm not telling that you all are like that. What I'm telling is this is a problem which exists.
Mr. Arun, if I can add.
Please.
Arun, am I visible? Am I audible?
You are audible, but I can't see you.
Yeah, but I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Arun, it was a very wonderful presentation as always. And I just wanted to add a few instances which has recently happened, which goes to strengthening about what you said just now. Even big companies fail and falter. Now, this big companies fail and falter. The reason being that, they are not concentrating or focusing on a value chain analysis on a sustainable basis. I'll give an example. Recently, Reserve Bank of India has debarred HDFC Bank from issuing credit cards. And also they have given a strict timeline in terms of determining the issues in their IT systems and bringing the technology to the level where it will be able to sustain their business without any outages to the customer. The main reason why this verdict came is because there are severe outages impacting the customers both in the securities platform as well as on the payment platforms. Now, this is not just an issue related to only HDFC Bank. In my view and experiences, I've seen this being impacting most of the banks throughout the world. Now, if we go into the deeper aspects of HDFC, the problem stems primarily from their data center. Now, this is not only for HDFC, again, it is for all the companies or the banks. Now, the data center operations, they are taking just for granted. And I could see that many number of elements that you have spoken today on the value chain is strictly applicable for the data center operations, which companies do not focus and falter. Now, I wanted to raise this and supplement to what we have heard from you, that it is not small companies that fail. The larger companies also fail, if not at the end-to-end value, but at least at the different departmental or the divisions or the resource level value chain also is very important. Hope I made it clear.
You're absolutely right. You see, absolutely, it is not a question of small or big companies. You see, when big companies fail to do their value chain analysis, their bottom line reflects. There is a dip in the bottom line. But when small companies fail, they collapse. And small companies become big companies by adopting value chain analysis. And it is not, rocket science. All it requires is awareness of the process and diligence of the business owner in applying himself to the process. That's all. You see, ultimately, you want to do business. That's why you have started doing business. Then why not do it properly?
Right. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir, this is M. Chidambaram. As we were discussing going on, what all experience they had are from top companies, sir. To name a few, Onida, Airtel and all. They are not bothered about the supply chain at all. Their service providers are very poor. They fix somebody, they give it to so many vendors who are not fully trained. Now I have to impress upon them the importance of this topic, value chain, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chidambaram. I'm happy that I could be of some use.
Sir, now only I realize, we go by big names, sir, Onida or Airtel. But
now, what happened to Onida?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
No, the same. They were the guys.
And you see, Airtel, you are telling Airtel Africa operations is more profitable than India operations today.
Oh.
So you see, you have to pay the price. If you are not going to do something, you pay the price for it.
Yes. So nice of you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Subramaniam.
Yes,
Suresh here.
speaking?
Suresh from Bangalore.
Yes, Mr. Suresh.
You were saying the Airtel operations, Africa is more profitable than India now?
Yes.
I didn't get it.
Yes. Airtel
Initially
Africa is more profitable when, initially, when they entered into Africa, people were telling that Africa will be the doom for Airtel, but today it is more profitable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, initially there are a lot of teething problems.
There were a lot of, there was huge criticism that they were entering into Africa.
Yeah.
But today, Airtel Africa is more profitable than Indian operations.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions? Or can we close? We are into 9:05. Thanks a lot for coming. Friends, tomorrow we have got a wonderful program by Mrs. Bhuvaneshwari on Participate Scientia. She is going to be talking about storytelling. Please do join in at 6:45. From 7 o'clock, the program will be starting. Thanks a lot. We will keep you informed. On 26th, we were supposed to have a program by Dr. Suhas. Unfortunately, his wife is undergoing an operation. Let us all pray for her well-being and fast recovery. On 26th, the program will not be there. After tomorrow, the next program will be on 27th. On 28th, we have a program. I don't exactly remember. I think 29th is Mr. Chidambaram. Am I right, Mr. Chidambaram? And 30th, again, I have a master class on leadership. And the other programs I'll keep you informed about. Thank you. Good night, all of you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Good night, sir.
Thank you
very much, Arun Kumar.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.